During his campaign for a U.S. Senate seat, a Trump-supporting front-runner hosted his first ad at a local restaurant over some hearty Southern barbecue before addressing the crowd. However, the gusty conservative candidate boldly uttered two simple words that immediately sparked outrage in both Muslims and liberals. Former Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore first became a hated target of the intolerant left after refusing to support same-sex marriage as it would force him to go against his Christian beliefs. Of course, Moore wasn't giving up his place in politics as a voice of the conservative voter, recently choosing to run for a U.S. Senate seat on his unchanging values. Now, the fiery veteran candidate hasn't just garnered the wrath of the LGBT but the relentless Muslim community as well, and it couldn't get more Trump-like. In true Donald Trump fashion, Moore vowed not only to assist the president in fighting the rhinos and Democrats sabotaging the commander-in-chief, but he also held his first ad at a barbecue eatery that serves savory pork products, brazenly declaring that Islam is a false religion. Al.com reports that along with promising to stand for Christian conservative values, Moore reiterated that he would stand against the constitutionally incompatible Sharia law no matter the cost. Moore sparked an uproar on the left for pointing out that Islam is more of a political ideology based on violent and oppressive beliefs rather than what most consider a religion. He also assured a concerned citizen that he would combat every effort to implement Sharia law in the U.S., which has recently raised alarm with the rise of Islamic female genital mutilation, illegal Sharia councils, and covert Sharia advocates who portray Islamic law as progressive. I have never shied away from battling for what is right, and I do not intend to become another spineless establishment Republican in Washington, Moore said in a statement coinciding with the ad's debut. We are blessed by God to live in the greatest nation in the history of the world, and I believe that's worth fighting for. Alabama residents know they can continue counting on me to do that in the United States Senate. It goes on to say that Moore will work with President Trump to rebuild our military, repeal Obamacare and stop liberal judges that threaten religious liberty and the Second Amendment. Expectedly, Muslims are hoping to punish Moore for expressing his First Amendment right to criticize any religion he pleases. Designated terrorist group CARE, which is nowhere to be found when Muslims carry out terror attacks, immediately condemned Moore as un-American for opposing a religion that is intrinsically un-American. However, there is no freedom of or from religion, freedom of speech, or freedom of the press under Sharia law. In fact, any criticism of Islam or the Prophet Muhammad is punishable by death. This order comes from none other than Muhammad himself, Islam's perfect man. Sahih Bukhari, 59-369. This recounts the murder of Ka'b bin al-Ashraf, a Jewish poet who wrote verses about Muslims that Muhammad found insulting. He asked his followers, "Who will rid me of this man?" And several volunteered. Al-Ashraf was stabbed to death while fighting for his life. Sahih Bukhari, 4-241. Those who mocked Muhammad at Mecca were later killed at Badr. Some undoubtedly died in the battle, provoked by Muhammad, but the Sirah records that Abu Jahl was killed as he lay helpless. Ibn Ishaq/Hisham 451, and Uqba was brutally executed by Muhammad in captivity for having put his foot on him while he was praying and draping him with camel entrails. Ibn Ishaq/Hisham 458 and Ibn Kathir v.2p.318. Muhammad also ordered the execution of several poets who mocked him, including women, children, and slaves. Additionally, Muhammad commanded the death penalty for apostates, homosexuals, and adulterers, per Allah's prescription. Moore understands that Islam is not only incompatible with any other religion or law but requires the eradication of all others. His Muslims critics prove this in their quest to silence him not only because the truth easily destroys Islamic theology but prevents it from accomplishing its commanded takeover. Please share the story and tell us what you think by clicking one of the buttons below. We want to hear your voice.